Hello, I'm Tony Trongone, Superintendent of Pemberton Township Schools, and welcome to our second edition of Inside Outlook. In our previous edition, we had our students, and we were engaged in conversation with our students about two questions. Me being new to Pemberton Township and the superintendency, I'm collecting feedback from various stakeholders. And the questions were, what's working in Pemberton Township schools, and what are some concerns you might have? And now, this being our second edition, I'm looking at our parents here, and I want to say thank you for coming out and providing me the feedback today. And I will make just one point, and a strong one, that wherever you see a strong school, you'll see strong parental, high levels of parent involvement. And so again, I can't thank you enough for being here to provide me with this feedback. We'll get the ball rolling, and so I ask that if you identify yourself and then how you're connected to the school district. Okay, so who would like to get us started? Anyone?
I'll go first. Go ahead. My name's Letha Jackson. I'm here as a resident and an employee here. All of my kids have since graduated, and I live in the Lake Valley area. Working in the school, I see a lot of changes, positive changes. As with anything, there's always room for improvement, but we're on the right track.
My name is Diana Bankston. I'm connected to the school. My twin girls go to early childhood, and then my son goes to Emmons. I'm on the PTO, treasury of the PTO there at early childhood, and I live in Browns Mills. All the schools, it's been a great experience for me. I mean, we're a military family, and we travel a lot, so especially with, like I said earlier, with the preschool, I'm very grateful for that, because you don't have that. It's a big blessing to have.
My name's Dara Stone. I have a 5th grader at Denbo, and I have a 2nd grader at Crichton. I'm also on the PTO. I've been the only parent on the PTO for a long time. I wish we could get more parent involvement. That is a big thing. But my experience with the schools are fantastic. The teachers are amazing. The principals I've dealt with are amazing. My son went to Fort Dix Elementary first. Great experience there. My daughter was in the early childhood education building, and now they've both gone through Crichton and Denbo, and so far so good. I can't complain.
My name is Karen Rosano. I represent Denbo and Crichton schools. I've had 4 children graduate through Pemberton High Schools to go on to careers, and I have 3 grandchildren so far in Pemberton Township schools. I also work at Crichton, and I am on the PTO. And I think that things are going in the right direction finally.
Hi, my name is Tanya Martindale. I have twins in Emmons Elementary and a daughter in Byzantsky. Emmons parent involvement, I believe, is exceptional. Byzantsky may need a little work, but I do think both of them are exceptional schools.
All right, thank you, Tanya.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lizette Buffett. I represent the middle school, and I'd like to speak about my son. My son was born on the autistic spectrum, and I have to give kudos to the Pemberton Township school system, because he started out as in a behavioral class, and he worked himself up. Now he's a freshman in high school, and he's in honors. And all the different programs that Pemberton Township has helped him and helped our family get to where he needs to be. So he was one child that was not left behind, and I'm hoping that other parents who have a similar situation or need help in any kind of way to help their children get through the education they want, lean on the school that they're in, because I can say it does work.
My name is Ricky Black. I represent Stackhouse School. I have a 4th grader and a 5th grader. And I also have a special needs child in Browns County Special Services. She's been there since she was 3. And mine's the same as you. Our parent involvement has gone down a lot over the years, and it's tough to get people to come out and volunteer and help. And we really would love to have more parents involved. The kids love it. They love the events. But they're hard to run when you only have a few people. So that's our only really issue in the school. We love the teachers. The teachers are awesome. Staff is great. The new principal, we love her. So it's very nice. I love Stackhouse, but it's the parent involvement is the only real issue for us.
My name is Andre Pignon. I have 3 children, one in the Helen Fort Newcomb campus, the other 2 in Byzantsky Elementary. I represent the bus garage. I am one of the drivers. What I would like to speak on is, again, what they say about the parent involvement in the community and stuff like that, including like. My children have no problem getting through. In fact, not to say anything else, but they all are honor roll students, all 3 of them, which I am proud of that. I do appreciate the teachers they have, which were wonderful. Any assistance that they needed, I thank the school, the teachers and everything like that. But one program, I'm not trying to speak badly about it, but one program which is known as 21st Century through all the elementary schools, okay? My only concern with that is that they only have limited space for so many children, you know? There's a waiting list for them, you know? And basically what it comes down to is who they choose to go enter the program and who can't have to either wait another year or they don't get the chance to get into the program at all. Okay, so we're talking about parent involvement. The question is, what do we do with the rest of the children that are not getting into 21st century? You know, there are more activities out there, so the question is, do they even know what's available in the situation, and how do we get word to the parents or get them to come in? You know, and if it's no programs that are available, in my opinion, you know, there are programs in the community that can also assist. How do we find a way to get a hold of these parents so that we can get the children back in like it was years ago? The main key is to get in more communication with the community, tell them there are programs out there. The school system does offer stuff for their children that they don't have to sit at home, and parents don't have to worry about any of the children going out there doing the wrong thing, make themselves active, you know, make stuff more available and stuff like that.
Thank you. Lionel.
Okay, yeah, I'm Lionel Lee. I'm one of the assistant basketball coaches here at the high school. I also help out with football. But in addition to that, I'm employed with the Federal Bureau of Prisons on Fort Dix. And I've been probably over the last 10 or 12 years involved with mentoring kids here at the high school and the middle. We've actually brought inmates up and do assemblies and whatnot so those guys can actually hear true stories of guys that got off track, got on the wrong path, ended up incarcerated, so they can, communicate to the kids about, some of the pitfalls trying to navigate, this part of their lives. Aside, different from most of the people here, my kids already graduated high school, so a lot of people ask, why do I participate so much? Because I live in Lake Valley. These kids are the kids that's in my community, and I'm concerned and I'm interested in, are they getting educated or not? So I have to deal with them off-site. So I just want to ensure that these guys are getting the proper, got all the tools they need and getting a good education. And I help out in sports. I'm at the middle, I'm at the high school. I'm also on the SLC here at the high school. So we try to, come up with new programs and new ideas for the teachers to, follow, and I assist with, communicating that to your office and to the board. But one of my concerns is basically we have, same what everybody is saying, activities and a lot of parents getting involved. And a lot of parents are younger now, transportation sometimes be an issue, finances be an issue. So, what we try to do is offer stuff that's inexpensive and in a time frame that, most of the kids can get up, and get to the site. We've offered child care, bring your kids if you have to, situations like that. And I think that will help some of these younger parents, go and have their kids be successful, because you have to have a level of expectation as a parent. You just can't send your kids to school and hope for the best. The teachers can only do so much. You can only do so much. Education still starts at home and it continues at home.
So I heard from everybody, and I'm thinking about the parent involvement piece. One thing, Andre, I'm not being silly when I say this, but the superintendent from from Northern Burlington has a Twitter account, and what he's doing is he's telling everybody for snow days, that's the first line of communication from his Twitter account, that he'll announce that we're not going to have school or delayed opening, and it forced more people to get on his Twitter account then so he can get the communication out. And that's like, one of the ways from listening to you all is how do you reach people through different medium. You know, the website, this can be on Channel 19, but Twitter can be one of those where get them forced to look on my Twitter, and if there's going to be school or no school, but then all their information will filter down to them. Whether they make the choice of coming or not, that's another situation, but at least we do that. Does anybody have any ideas of what I can do to help improve parental involvement? Any ideas?
I mean, the teachers that my children have this year are using this Remind app. So if they need to send out a message to the parents, but you have to sign up. All the teachers have said numerous times, I don't have all of the parents signed up, yet they know that all of those parents have smartphones. I don't understand why they're not signing up. It's crucial information. And you were saying before about that parents are just sending their kids off to school. The teacher literally sent out a message yesterday saying, please have your children to school on time because we have a test at 9:40. I mean, I don't understand why parents don't think this is important. It's not like it's daycare. They're in 2nd grade, and she's asking the parents to make sure they're there on time.
That'd be a nice idea to be across the board, even at high school.
Yes.
The Remind 101.
Yeah.
It's great because I can text the teacher through that app and ask her a question, and she gets right back to me.
Yeah,
We
my
have Class
teacher
Dojo, which is
uses
kind of the same thing.
Yes, same thing.
That's what both of my 4th and 5th
Yeah.
grader teachers have. Class
Emoto,
Dojo.
right?
Huh?
Emoto?
No, I don't know. It's because Class
Classroom
Dojo.
Dojo is where they
Emoto.
keep track of classroom
Yeah, it's behavior,
behaviors,
and
then
they
you
can
get-
send
you get an update.
emails and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and they check periodically
But
during the day.
Emoto, that's what my 2nd grade teacher uses. He set up the classroom, and then the parents can have their own link to it. So if you need to get a note to the teacher right away, he sees it on his
Yeah,
phone.
it's Edmodo. Hey, what I'm thinking out loud with y'all here is, that's something I could do to help, though. It looks like teachers have taken to their own devices. I'm not trying to put on anybody as far as the administration, but they use Classroom Dojo, they use Remind 101, they use Edmodo, but that's something that I think systemically, if we can use that as a district to say, what can we use, and then have everybody use that, so we can, if they go from Emmons, and now they go to Byzantsky, they're using the same tool, communication tool, not just dependent upon the lottery of, you just so happen to have a teacher that uses that device. So, all good ideas, but I think that's where I take it upon myself, just thinking out loud with you, that'd be something I could draw from to say, what can we do as far as a universal tool to communicate? This way, again, it goes from one particular area to another, and you're just in the loop the whole time you're here in Pemberton.
Well, I know Denbo and Crichton, they've even opened up a Facebook account to try and get the parents more aware of what's going on in the school and what's coming up. We have 30 people. That's it. There's
Okay.
725 children between our 2 schools, and we have 30 people. And it's advertised in everything we do. Go to the Facebook.
Okay.
Also, too, keep in mind, we have a lot of young parents, especially down at the elementary school level. And, one of the problems that we was running into is far as a lot of people don't have computers, they don't do Facebook. Some of the older grandmothers who's raising kids now.
Oh, we send out tons of
they
flyers, too.
don't do computers.
so do
You know what
we.
I'm saying? I can't mess with no computer. I don't know what I'm doing. So,
Yeah.
so a lot of things
The
are
generation
still,
gap.
right,
Yeah.
that generational deal. So, the sitting home flyers, sometimes phone calls, but, we're just educating the younger parents. I think that's our target area. That's where we really got to start.
What about academics? Anything as far as academics I should be focusing on? Anything in regards to reading, writing, arithmetic, homework, anything like that? I'm not trying to draw trouble, but as far as like the parent involvement, I think I'm going to work on that. It's a good point that you made. Anything academically?
I have one thing.
Okay.
Our school offers the children to come in early, 3 days a week, to learn about the park testing. It's basically like one day they learn how to use the computer, one day they learn how. but it's for, I think, a total of about 6 months. They have to come in 3 days a week. It's all up to the parent to bring them in early. And if they come all but 3 days out of that 6 months, they get to go on a field trip to iPlay America. So you have these children whose parents can't get them there, and they don't get to go on this field trip. But then you're also like pushing these kids to sit in front of a computer, and now we're going to take you to iPlay America. And my son looked at me, he's like, Mom, I don't want to get up early 3 days a week just to go to iPlay America. I'm like, I mean, but then you have the other kid who's like, my mom can't afford to take me. I want to go. But their mom can't get them to school early because a bus won't pick them up.
Yeah.
So, to me, it's like there's pros and cons to it, but.
Yeah, I'm going to be trying to work on providing supplemental services during the school day.
That's what I think should be
And
done.
that's going to take, I have experience in that, and when I was in a previous school district, and it's not easy to do, but it's doable, and it's been done in many school districts. It's not a novel fix, so I think that's what parents talk about. Like, if we understand that there are some supplemental activities and help after school and before school, but if we can put that half hour, 45 minutes during the school day, that's going to help with transportation, and then we want to get the young folks involved.
I think the other academic thing that I think a lot of young parents do, but when the Common Core math comes home and parents don't understand it and their kids don't understand it, and trying to understand and explain to their child a way that we were never taught, that they've changed, it's very difficult. And I mean, sometimes I sit there, I can figure it out, but not saying all parents can. And then they have to go to school with their homework incomplete and go to their teacher and say, I don't understand it. You know, it's a, I don't know if they maybe have like a program for parents or a letter that goes home to explain, this is how you do it and break it down. Because the older they get, the harder it gets. And
Well, if I may, I could say, Bozansky, where my two youngest go right now, they do have a program which I participate myself. They do offer to parents called First in Math. And they try to explain the new curriculum to parents, but again, it's getting the parents there.
It's the transportation thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, if they can send like something home, you know, this is explained how you, even with the thing, because our school's doing that too this year. They're trying to do like a program for parents to help them out for things that they don't understand. But not all parents can come out. A lot of parents work till 6, 7 o'clock, and then they have 3 kids at home. You know, it's tough.
Still
But
have
I'm
to
just,
cook
that's
dinner
like,
and all that
that's
stuff.
the only
Maybe
academic
we need
issue
like
with
we
me.
need like a Khan Academy for parents.
Yeah.
Well, like
You
I
don't
said, I
wanna
think
confuse
it's,
them either.
I'm thinking out loud again, is to have little 2-minute, 3-minute clips where it's like a Khan Academy. This is how you can help your child with
And
it.
that would be great.
Yeah,
That would be
Relative
awesome.
to that,
Yeah,
that's
I
something we
mean,
could do.
just a
to
little
help parents.
self-explanatory
Post it on the
thing,
website or
exactly.
something,
Go
yeah.
on the website or something.
Yeah.
Because
Just
sometimes
like-
parents just need a little bit of, oh, okay, I understand
Okay,
that
yeah.
now.
Exactly.
Because
It's just a new way of doing
after a long day
things,
at
though.
work,
Don't
my
get
brain
bones
doesn't work
in.
a lot of times.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to address?
What's your view on uniforms? Because we have had that issue, we kicked it around before, and we, one time we got pushback from the parents, and then the next time, I was surprised that the teachers pushed back on it one time. So you coming in, this is, new district, new time, I want to ask you, what's your views on school uniforms, especially at the high school and middle school level?
I'm not real strong either or. We did have a request for school uniforms in my previous district as superintendent, and we had a collaborative effort. That's what I would do, and make sure all stakeholders. I think when it's 50-50, and I don't know what the situation was in Pemberton, it's not going to be very effective. But I do know in a school district next to mine, they did it, and it went very well, and a lot of issues were resolved in regards to what people were wearing. So.
The data backs it up. In our opinion, it eliminates the fashion show at school. Kids are not concerned about who's wearing what and who has on what. So it's more conducive to learning. And I think there's data to back it up that it actually works.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be reaching out to you and get that information and have further conversations with you.
Okay, no problem. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Lionel.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Are we going to consider a spring break?
I will say that this year we can't make that change because of different situations with people with their time off or even at the end of the year. And but I am creating a calendar right now, and what I'm going to do is have a focus group meeting with a group similar to this, and then even more some teachers, obviously teachers, administration, parents, and have a more inclusive approach. Not that it wasn't as inclusive in previous years, but and look at that and go forward about what we need to do moving forward. I will voice my one sliver of my opinion is that a school is an organism that has a lot of people in it, and if there's ebbs and flows and getting along and people with people all the time, and these breaks seem to come at just the right time, and they need that pause, and then it goes to the next period of time, and we're together, you know, every day, more so than with our families, and then we have a pause. And so these pauses seem to me to come at just the right time to make that break and then have that another fresh start. So that's something I do. That's my take on it. But I think that needs to be more conversation with more stakeholders at the table. We bring obviously the board has the board approves the calendar.
Right.
So obviously they'll be involved, but have more people there to see exactly what will be the most effective calendar for our students going forward. So for the 16-17 school year, you'll see an announcement on the website that we'll have a focus group meeting about moving forward for the following year with our calendar.
This is a quick question.
Go ahead, Tanya.
Will the park scores ever be
Yeah,
shared
they're
with
gonna come out.
parents?
I'm kind of curious myself.
Yeah, it's coming out. They said the second week in October will be the state scores, like overall how the state did. So they'll tell you the first grade, or I mean it's the third grade, the fourth grade, the fifth grade, and then the following week apparently we're going to get our school scores, individual scores, and then that comes in like a piece of paper, and it's hard to give that. It's just a ream of all the kids and their score, but parents they have a placard that says you received it before. It has your child's name, it has their score, it has even the breakdown of what they did. You know, their strengths and weaknesses in each content cluster. That comes later, like in January. But they are changing it to 1 week this year. Are you all aware of that?
No.
You know how it was 2 different weeks?
Yes.
Well, they did listen, and they said, okay, let's make it 1 week now.
Okay.
So
Less
it's just
stress
going
on
to be,
the
it's going to be in April.
Okay. The park, the scores from the test, are they counted towards the child's overall score? I mean, when you go to...
We have to, again, I'm not trying to kick the can here, but I think we have to have a conversation about what that, because it's the first time they've been tested on this particular instrument. So, I mean, I think that the map that they use and like we have other assessments, we have to look at what we do, and we have data for the past few years. And I'm a big proponent of, if you're going to assess, what are you going to do with that data? I don't care what you're assessing. So, we have to work on like the map data. Like you're gonna assess a child. Okay, you have to get that data, break it down, and provide the teacher with and the teacher can do it with his or herself. Look at the different, and then they call it data mining. Oh, that this child's work with needs work in phonemic awareness or whatever. It does that. So that's what I think we test, and we don't do anything but say, oh, they got a 200, and that's not acceptable. You give an assessment. It's supposed to be to inform instruction, and that's what I'll be pushing to do. If there's got to be purpose to what they do, and as long as there's purpose, you know, my hands are tied with the park, but I'm told that we're going to get more information. Hopefully that'll be the case, but I know that our assessments will have purpose to assessment. That'll be my emphasis. Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Well, I want to say again, thank you very much for coming out. Again, there's going to be subsequent additions. I'm going to have some teachers, and I'm going to have parents again. I'll have more students, maybe some younger students. I had middle school and high school students last time. And again, I'm learning. And trust me, I learned a lot from what the middle school and high school kids told me. And subtly, I was able to be more engaged and make better decisions, knowing what they told me at that table. And hopefully, I'll be met with that here with you all, too. So again, thank you. That being said, before we close the program today, we have a brief video describing our newest initiative here at Pemberton. As many of you know, last year we started our tablet distribution, beginning with freshmen at the high school. This year we've expanded to the middle school with the deployment of iPads to our staff. As the video will explain, this is another phase in our plan to effectively use one-to-one technology to promote student engagement in the learning process.
themselves. The plan for rolling them out begins with helping the faculty feel comfortable and confident with using them. And during these initial phases, we have the teachers receiving the iPads. They get the background on the use of the technology itself, but also the impact that can have instructionally for them. So we have our technology coach working in conjunction with our tech department to make sure that we're handling the hardware issues and the wireless issues and things like that. And then we also have our teacher leaders helping to build facility for our teaching staff.
We're already in an initiative, a one-to-one initiative with students having a device with them all the time, a personal device. And so we're moving forward. We were going from the high school down into the middle school. And after much deliberation, we decided to go with the Apple iPad for the middle school students. That being said, what I'd like to see the environment look like for a student at the middle school with the iPad is, and this isn't just my vision, but a group of folks in the district decided it would be on student engagement. One would think that it would be on testing and higher scores, but it's not. We're looking at this device being used for students on a one-to-one, using their own, that'll be their personal device, and they use that to raise the level of engagement while they're learning.
Really engage the students, get them involved in the lesson as much as possible, using things like video, podcasts, video casts, all of that multimedia type content, I think will really change what they do in the classroom.
So today what we're seeing is it's the initial rollout. We have sessions scheduled during the course of the day where we have groups of teachers who are receiving the iPads, and they're meeting with members of the technology department so that way they can start to learn how they'll be able to use the tool in their classrooms. Early on, the goal is for the teachers to get comfortable with the device itself, to learn about some applications that they can use on a day-to-day basis instructionally within their classrooms. We're also blessed that we can have our Board of Ed has purchased the Apple TVs, so that way they'll be able to interface with the smart boards that are in their room and be using the device to present information to the kids, but also the real-time availability to media, online media that they can integrate, whether it's audio, presentations that are already posted online, tools that are available in real time that they can use for the students.
So this year, the 2015-2016 school year, we're having our teachers become more familiar with using the device as an instructional tool. So I don't want to misinform the public, so I want to be clear, the students aren't going to get their own iPad this year in 6th, 7th, or 8th grade. It'll just be the teachers, so they learn. We have to build curriculum to match the device. You just can't give a kid a device, and a teacher a device, and say, go ahead and teach. So we have to marry the curriculum up with this deployment of the devices and make sure that they're going to use a device and they're going to have whatever the content that we want students to know and be able to do in with that device. After a few months, we are going to pilot iPad use with students this school year, and it'll be in teams. So the middle school is broken up into teams, so a team would have the laptop carts or iPad carts, and they would get them to go and transition from using the iPad to using the iPad with students. So that's the second phase. So that's the teacher and instruction. Also with the teacher and instruction, we're having Apple TVs installed. Apple TV is not a television, it's just a device that connects the iPad to the smartboard. So whatever's on the iPad, the students can see on the board. That's happening this year, it's happening now, we're working on that now.
So to have the whole school immersed in the technology with the Apple TV device, I think will be a great addition to bringing technology to the classroom. You know, you can use it as a document camera. I actually have a little device rigged up where I can manipulate documents, annotate, and project them onto the screen. So having the Apple TV to make it wireless will make that much easier to use. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Our goal was to increase student engagement. That being said, I visited Haddon Township schools, Voorhees schools, Eastern Regional High School, Mineola, New York, Edison, New Jersey, and I get to pick different things that they're doing really well. And the folks that are doing it really well, again, have that curricular, like there's a purpose why they're using the particular device, and they have that content. And then the goal would be to see kids more engaged. So when I was in Mineola, New York, students were on task and they were engaged because we want to, I mean, they're outside of school, so they're in school for six or so hours a day, and the other 18 hours, they're immersed in technology. They come here and they are not. And so we're assimilating them into this, well, we're trying to create an environment similar to what it's like outside the school day. And so what I've seen in successful implementations is kids are more engaged and they're learning, when they talk about that buzzword of differentiated instruction, it really is differentiated because there's a lot of choices involved in regards to the digital content. So kids are more engaged in that facet as well as their level of ability. We'll have standards to meet for each kid, obviously, and for each grade level. But again, the ultimate outcome is to get students more engaged in their learning.
This particular initiative is very important to me, and it's actually amazing that we have this opportunity for our students. Collaboration between the Board of Ed, the superintendent, all through the technology department, the curriculum department, down through building level administration, working with the teachers. This is a very, very significant team effort. It's pushing us a direction in the 21st century where students are going to have the opportunity to engage with technology tools that will help to prepare them for their future, things in their career path that we can't even foresee or understand at this point that they'll need to be prepared for.
Thanks for joining us in this edition of Inside Outlook, and we look forward to seeing you next time.